Hi, guys. Welcome back to It Doesn't Have to Be Perfect. And this is your reminder to subscribe, to follow along if you're on Spotify. This thing is really rolling along, and it's been over a year since I started this podcast. And I feel like I'm in a very good place where I feel confident about what I'm putting out there and the things that are coming. And it's funny to see how this podcast evolves with me because obviously I'm not going to be the same person forever. And so as I learn and I grow, I come on here and you guys grow with me. And yeah, I'm very grateful for even starting this in the first place. I feel like it's a very nice outlet for me creatively and emotionally. Like, I feel like getting on here and speaking about what's on my mind, I feel like there's a lot of things that resonate with people, and I get so happy when I see messages of people just saying exactly that. So thank you for reaching out. I always love to hear, like, I know people, maybe even me, like sometimes I don't reach out to my favorite influencers and stuff because I'm like, they're never going to see this. They don't care. But like they care. Trust me, they care. But today I wanted to get a little serious for a moment because I think for me, getting this new apartment, and even though I'm in the same complex, like I've mentioned before, I had to level up. I had to really get my stuff together because if you've been following along for a while, you know that I only had one job for a while, and that was just not enough to support me. Like, it was enough to keep me afloat, but it was not enough to support the bills. And because I was in school, I kind of used school as an excuse to not look for anything else. But also, I realized that because my internship would take like place in the mornings, I couldn't really do anything in the mornings. And so that left me with like evening jobs. And as a lot of, if you work an evening job, and if you search for evening jobs, it's usually like coffee shop or it's a restaurant or something a little like non-traditional. Like, it's the 9 to 5. It's going to be like a service job, it's going to be like a services job. And I was really hesitant to do that, to be honest, because if I'm being completely honest here, I thought that I was too good to get a service job or a restaurant job or, anything like that. I really thought, hey, I'm getting my master's. I'm doing social media now, like full time as well. I shouldn't have to be working here. I shouldn't have to be working on this, And wow, my ego was through the roof because that was further from the truth. And that just brought me to this idea, reflecting back on that, of like not being so picky when it comes to choosing your opportunities. Because I got real with myself and I said, you really need to step down from there because you're not all that great. You're not all that like powerful yet. You're not like in a place where you can just say like, I'm too good for this. I'm too good for that. Girl, you need money. At the end of the day, you need money. So get your ass up and work, okay? Echoing Miss Kardashian over here. But it was true. And I really had to stop looking at these jobs and being like, I'm not going to apply for this because it's like below me, Wow. Did I really just, look at myself in the mirror and say, no, like you have to work. You have bills to pay. You have food to put on the table for yourself, for your own survival. And so I ended up working at a coffee shop once again. Not Starbucks. But yeah, it's because of that opportunity that I took, I was able to get this place, right? Get this new place and keep myself afloat. And thankfully, I woke up just in time because if it wasn't for me getting that second job, or, arguably third job, if you include this, I was able to actually be able to afford and like have like the receipts and the pay stubs to show that I make enough to still live here. And I mean, if it wasn't for that, I don't know where I would be living. I definitely would be at a place that I didn't enjoy living. I said it once, I'll say it again. I love living where I live because of the amenities and the proximity to everything. Like, everything is super close by. And I just love this apartment in general. It's like high ceilings, you know, the management is great, and whenever there's something that needs to get fixed, it's usually within 24, 48, 72 hours that they come by and they fix it. So I loved it so much and I wanted to keep living here. But I was just so stubborn. I was like, I am too good for this. I am too good for getting a job back where I am serving people coffee. So now I'm thinking about every opportunity that I've turned down because I thought I was too good for it. And man, like, I mean, there's not too many, right? Because like I am focusing on school and I am kind of just like a homebody when I am in school. So it's nothing crazy, but like I feel like I really closed myself off to any opportunities. Like even if there was one in front of me, I didn't notice it because I was so like focused on I got to do what I got to do, keep my head down and just work. But even then, like, even when I was struggling, even when I was down bad, and even when I was like anxious about money, I still didn't want to get that job. Again, I'm so glad I had this realization for myself, because if it would have taken someone else telling me that, I feel like I would have been embarrassed and I would have been like, oh, yeah, that kind of does. Well, now that I think about it, my roommate at the time, my ex-boyfriend, did tell me like, hey, you know, you really should get a second job. But it was always like a, hey, gentle reminder. It was never like a sit down conversation of like, dude, you need to get a job, you know, because like we were getting by. But yeah, I'm glad that happened. And so I have this memory now, like seeing a TikTok of this guy who is very famous. He actually was like, if you're Mexican, you know, the La Familia Peluche. It was this TV show that was super, super popular. That the main guy, the dad in it, I remember the actor was in an interview and he was saying how he was hiring an intern and he was about to hire this one guy, and the guy got super offended because he wasn't going to get paid as an intern. And the guy, the actor guy, was like, what do you mean you're offended? Like you're going to get to work for me. Like for me, like you know, across cinema in Mexico, like he's a legend. Everyone knows him. He's like a household name. And he was just like, what do you mean? Like, and at the time I remember my friend showing me this video and being like, dude, this guy is so entitled. Like, what the fuck? But now looking back at it, I'm like, yo, like imagine saying like you worked for that dude on your resume. Like, holy shit. And like the people that are surrounded by him that you would get to be around. Are you kidding me? Like, yes, it wasn't a paid opportunity, but like, who cares? Like, it could definitely lead to a paid opportunity. So again, I'm not saying work for free, but like you have to realize the opportunities in front of you and not think you're better than, or I deserve this, I deserve that. Sometimes when you're starting out, especially, you can't be so picky. You can't just assume that I deserve this, I deserve that after doing zero work. Like, how does that make sense? Like, making it make sense. Like, no, like you have to actually start from the bottom, like actually start from the bottom and work your way up sometimes. And I wish it could work like that. And I wish I could just, you know, get what I deserve now. But what do I really deserve if I haven't worked for it? You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like I love Gen Z. We are so funny. We are so lighthearted. And, you know, during the pandemic, the whole if we die we die thing was going around, and it was so great because that's truly how I felt. I was like, if it happens to me, oh well, you know, it was my time, whatever. But I love everything about Gen Z, but we can be a little entitled when it comes to that, and I recognize that. I see it. Obviously, when it comes to fair wages, you know, a reasonable work schedule, and not working us overtime if, you know, we're like in an established industry. Like, no, like we're not taking any bullshit. And I love that about us. But we have to recognize our place sometimes. And we have to recognize that sometimes, especially when you're starting out, and I emphasize this like to the 10,000th time, you have to start, and it might be like shitty circumstances and you might be down here, but you're starting out and you're building yourself back like up, you know. I know it can be discouraging, especially like considering, hey, like I'm 25 and I'm still working. I'm still working my way up. I'm still in school, and I'm still going through the motions of just getting better every day and growing and learning every day. But I have to recognize when an opportunity arises, I can't like say that I'm too good for it when it's exactly what I need to grow and to get to that next level. Because sometimes the only way you get these opportunities is by accepting that they're going to be under shitty circumstances sometimes. And you're not going to get to like from point A to point like C already. You know, you have to get through point B and like the in-betweens to get to point C. It's not just a given. You're not just handed stuff. I wish it was like, trust me. And I've been through that mindset too. And I've been through that motion too, that belief that I deserve what I deserve. But let's be real, like that's a little entitled on your part to think that you deserve it just because you exist and you went to school. But like, do you actually have the skills? Like, and that's one thing about school that I've noticed now too, even for me, like I'm calling myself out, like school, as long as you get your assignments done, you can just pass. Like as long as you get your stuff done, you can pass. It doesn't mean that you learned anything, and it doesn't mean that you have any applied knowledge, because especially like when I was doing my BA for like sustainability, towards the end, the last year, it was really hard for me just going through like getting back together with my ex and like feeling so anxious all the time and like being just so unmotivated. And I was just going through it with that I remember just like doing the bare minimum on my assignments, getting them done. Don't get me wrong, like getting them done. But like it was like kind of a blur. It was kind of a blur that time. And to be honest, I don't remember much of what I learned. I don't want to like discredit my school. I love my school and like I'm still going there for my master's, but you know, it didn't get me out into the real world. It didn't really like, there wasn't any applied stuff. It was just reading, assignments, discussion posts, you name it, right? And so to think that just because you went to school, you're going to be prepared, unfortunately, that is not the case anymore. You know, school is accessible to a lot more people, and that's great. But it also makes it so that there is less like focus on you as an individual, depending on the school you go to, of course. But that makes it so that you kind of do have to learn on your own or take opportunities for yourself and join clubs and join whatever you can. And I feel like that's one of my regrets that I didn't do when I was in school. I thought I was too busy to be in a club, but like, girl, no, you weren't. Like, we know in your free time you were just watching reruns of Friends. So any opportunity that you can take, please take it. And don't be so picky. Don't think because you're not getting paid or you're not getting compensated in whatever way that it's not useful to you. And it's going to be of a greater use to you than, say, for example, like you pick between doing a club at school and this little like voting campaign job that like doesn't pay you. It pays you scraps and you have to go door to door. Depending on the experience that you want, which one are you going to choose? The one that doesn't pay and it's just a club, or like the shitty job where you are just sweating all day? You know what I mean? Like you have to choose what is going to actually benefit you in the long run, even if it doesn't benefit you in the moment. If it benefits in the long run, it's going to look good on your resume. Do it. Do that. Okay. Don't be so picky. Don't think you're above getting a job. Don't think you're above getting that experience and getting paid nothing. I would give anything to shadow, like literally any celebrity. I would give anything to shadow like a social media manager. I would give anything to like shadow those people that I admire and that I want to be like. I would give anything to shadow like a big influencer. Like even if it was getting paid nothing and I get their coffee and whatever, like I just need to get an insight on like what are you doing? Like what is it that you do? Who is it that you talk to? What are the programs you use? What are the techniques you use? That is worth everything. Even if I'm not getting paid, I don't care. So yeah, this is a shout out if anyone is listening and you need a little assistant, like, you know, hit me up. But no, like in all seriousness, and I will repeat, Don't be picky. Make sure you grab every opportunity that presents, that benefits you. And even if it is under shitty circumstances, if it still benefits you, if it's a great opportunity, don't think you're above it. Don't think you're too good for it, and grab it. Get the experience, get the knowledge, get to be around those people. All right, I think that's going to be it for me. I ranted. I went into it, but I really mean it. I really, really do mean it when I say get up and work. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.